Welcome to our channel at We Are Campo. If you're new here, please go ahead and turn on your notification bell, and please don't forget to subscribe. You can also find us on our media handles, that's on Instagram and Facebook at We Are Campo. So today is a very grievous day to me because it's the day December 30th 2020 when I lost my daddy. I'd already actually began this channel, but I've not been able to make a tribute to him. I'm gonna talk about it for 2 whole years because my father was so dear to me, so special to me, and he transitioned very quickly. What I can say is that day I was having breakfast with him. He was in full health, he was in perfect health. Okay, not perfect. He was in good health. He was in good health, and just had a mere cough and stuff. And it was Christmas time. We just had Christmas. We didn't do any big celebrations because he was tired. That December 2020, my father did 3 weeks conference back to back from November to December in Kangundo, Kambani. He was doing conferences and he was preaching 3 hours. They would 3 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. They would change interpreters, but him, the speaker, would keep on talking, and he was preaching about eternity that is so beautiful to me. And so he was taking time to rest, and so during this time of resting, apparently he called some bishops and told them that his time here is done. And he called me and my husband, Reverend Solomon, that day, and he told us that I happened to be the only child that day. That time my siblings are in America, and that day I was with Reverend Solomon, and he called us and he looked at us and like, "Daddy, what is it?" And yeah, he smiled and just continued. So he's like, "I can't tell you guys, imagine." And so he called us twice that day. He called us twice, and we went and we were like, "Oh yeah, so we're here." And so now the second time I decided I'm not going to leave. I'm just gonna sit there with him and we're gonna talk, and he'll be sleeping. And I was like really tired because he had really preached a lot, and he was 82 years old but very strong. He was strict on his nutrition, so he was really strong. And so that I was pregnant. I was 8 weeks pregnant, and my pregnancies are horrible. So I'm there with my bucket throwing up, and so in the evening my mom was like, "You look so tired, why don't you just lie down next to your dad?" And I'm like, "Really?" Okay, so I was lying down, and I'm throwing up and I'm sleeping. So at around 10 p.m. I get up. I'm like, let me just go continue throwing up in my bed. So I tell my dad, "Okay, good night, see you tomorrow," and I go. I didn't know that was the last time I was gonna see him. And so I went to my bed, and at around way into the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., my sister calls me. She's like, come quickly. And so I'm like, "Wait, aren't you in Nairobi?" I'm hearing my mom, I'm hearing people praying. I'm like, "What is going on?" And when I ran, I see my dad, and he sees all of us there. The rest who are in Nairobi had just arrived, and when he sees all of us, he smiles and he goes. And that's how my dad transitioned. That's my story. Everybody has their story of how that he transitioned so peacefully, and like it was something that he just knew he was gonna do because he had called us that day. Me and my husband, he kept on calling us. "I have something to tell you," but he wouldn't say what it was. And so he peacefully just transitioned from a man who was preaching about eternity that whole December. My father is one of the generals in Kenya who brought the Pentecostal movement in 1963, 1964, all the way with Bishop Apostle Kayo. They are the fathers of the nation. He's the spiritual father of Bishop Arthur Kitonga. He's the spiritual father of so many bishops in the country and pastors, and has founded Gospel Tabernacle Worship Center, which has over 600 branches in Kenya. So he was a big founder in Kenya, and even on the funeral, it was just so beautiful to see. It was during the pandemic. It was in the midst of the pandemic. We were not allowed to have more than 50 people, but we had over 2,000 people, meaning to have been even more during that funeral. And it was just so beautiful to me, and everything that he had done for the gospel, just his life was ministry, his life was God. He just preached and preached for hours, and he preached the word. You can see that was a foundation he gave us children. And for me, my father loved us so much. When I got pregnant, I was actually in this house. That's why I've chosen this this compound, because it reminds me of him so much. This is where he took care of me. So my parents were in Kenya. I was in the Philippines. I'm pregnant. I'm so sick. My in-laws don't know what to do with me. I'm throwing up all. Actually, they were taking care of me. So my mother comes, you know, and she's just crying. She's seen me. We're in and out of hospital, and she's just crying. And so she tells my father, "You come," and he comes, and he's the one who is with the strength to nurse me back. And so he realized I can leave my daughter here. And that's how I went back to Kenya. Like, he took me back in that situation. Actually, that time when he was called, he was doing some missions in Uganda, some far place in Uganda, you know, not in Kampala. So he got from that place to Kampala, to Nairobi, from Nairobi straight to Manila, Manila to Tegeta, almost 3 days of traveling just to come see me. And that time, I think it was like 75 or something, because of how sick I was. And when he came, he did not sleep. You remember, I had a new house, but no, I slept with my dad and mom. And so, my father really loved his children. I'm the last born daughter. And even as he walked me down the aisle, he kept on telling me, if you don't want to do this, we don't have to do it. Remember, my husband's family are the one who chose me. We're not the ones who chose them. It was the other way around. They chose me. And he just kept on telling me, you don't have to do this. You know, we can go back. We can refund every shilling they have spent here, you know. You know, don't think about the money. Because I kept on thinking about all the money these guys have spent. What? These Ocampos, you know. But my dad kept on telling me, no, we can give back every single. Don't think about that. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to do it. And, you know, he just held my hand through. And walking down the aisle, I think I'll put it somewhere here. My dad walked me down the aisle. It was just so emotional for me, because I was the first daughter he walked down. We are 3 of us. And so I just have special memories with him. Every Sunday I would minister right before him, you know, and when he would come on stage, you're like, okay, Pastor Liz, give us a song. And you know, and I'd jokingly come and dance next to him when I'm leading. And I remember, if you're a visitor in the church, you'd be like, wow, the audacity of this worship leader. I remember one time we were having a conference and I did that, you know, and I'm dancing next to my father. Has his, you know, he has called the worship team, come, you know, and I'm dancing next to him. And so this woman, after when I gave her, she said, you know, you have the audacity to stand next to the man of God like that and that. You know, when she finished talking, I'm like, I'm his daughter. Like, yeah, that's me. Don't you see the resemblance? I'm so glad that I am actually talking about my dad without crying. Like, I've come so far. I know my sisters have a long way to go, and practically I'm doing this video also for them, because Daddy meant so much to us. To the rest of the world, he was Bishop Dr. Charles Muyu, but to us, it's just our dad. He was our father. He made sure we went to the best schools. He made sure we had everything that we needed. Like, he was there, giving his all to the church, giving his all at home and everything. He was so humble. His humility was so much. He could cook for people and do stuff for people. And that taught me a lot, because the contrast between him and my mom is a princess in the kingdom of Toro. And then my humble dad here, just growing up with that blend was just so beautiful. He's a Kamba from Makweni. So whoop whoop, I'm a proud Cambodian. Yeah, that's our tribe for the rest of the world. If you don't know, that's the tribe I am from in Kenya. I just thank God for my father's life. I thank God for everything that he taught us. I thank God that he left us such a strong foundation. Even being in ministry, I know when doctors' children become doctors, everybody's like, yay! But when pastors' children become pastors, people keep asking us, were you forced? What is this? Is there anything else to do? No, but when pastors' children become pastors, it means the pastor in their home was a good example, was something that child wanted to be. It's something that we wanted to be. And just going through life, I did a selfie with my dad every Sunday. That's something that's so special to me. Yeah, we did a selfie every Sunday, which now I'm doing with my father-in-law, my father in grace. And I have countless selfies with him, you know. I have that today, and he used to tell me, one day you'll appreciate this, and that one day is today. So I thank God for December 30th will be a time that I'll celebrate a general that lived, and anyone who's lost a parent, who's lost a loved one, and you're going through these tough times, because they say time makes it easier. Actually, all that time does is help you to keep the memories closer to you. That's what time does. But the pain is still as bad. The pain is still as deep. But as Paul said in the Word of God, we do not mourn with those who do not know, but we mourn with a hope that we'll see you someday. I know, Daddy, I'll see you someday, and I celebrate your life. I still don't believe how you peacefully chose to transition, but we've all grown up since you left. I mean, look at your son, Johnny, is now the bishop. And the rest of us daughters, we've had to grow up. Each and everybody has had to grow up and transition in their own. I think I would have never taken the step to come to Philippines, you know, and just live out my vow of your people be my people if you are still there, you know. And my channel has grown. I remember when we started this channel, it was in the pandemic, and my father was there, and he was like, oh, you know, I'll be shooting, and he's passing. I'm like, Daddy, I'm shooting a video. He's like, oh, okay. What did you say this was again? But Daddy, look, the channel has grown. My last sermon actually had 30,000 people, you know, watching that sermon. And so to me, the pulpit has moved. This is my pulpit. This is my ministry, and just reaching out to you who is watching, reaching out to everyone out there with my life, that it may reflect the glory of God and may give tribute to the foundations of where I'm from, and that's been the daughter of Bishop Dr. Charles Muyu. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you, and bye-bye.